do for a living?
Right now, I'm sort of in a consulting role with Invest Ottawa. I was one of those people who took a big risk in majoring in history, so I did a bachelor's in history, and I did a master's in history, and finally I did a PhD in history, all in the same
Is that?
University of Ottawa. If you're really lucky, you end up as a part-time professor in a subject of your expertise in history. But what does that mean? It means that you don't get any benefits, and it means that you're employed on a contract basis. You don't have a tenured track position which you can hold until retirement. Instead, you just last for the duration of the contract, and maybe your contract gets renewed or maybe it doesn't. It creates a lot of uncertainty, and those are the lucky people. The number of people graduating with history degrees vastly exceeds the number of opportunities that are available in the marketplace right now which require history degrees. What we have to recognize is that we're in the midst of revolutionary times, where Canada, and more broadly the world, is experiencing a digital technology revolution. What does that mean? That means that in order for your history degree to be relevant, you have to attach it to it has to have a tech component to it. So I think you could actually create your new opportunities if you were to, let's say, couple a history degree on the one hand with, let's say, virtual reality. For instance, there's SimWave Consulting Incorporated did this great VR project, virtual reality project, which simulates your experiences during the Battle of Vimy Ridge in 1917. So you put on your virtual reality goggles, and it's like you're experiencing the Battle of Vimy Ridge. You have bullets whizzing behind you. You feel the heat of the battle zone. You experience the smells and all of the other sensations. So if you could couple history on the one hand with, let's say, virtual reality or some other tech field, then you could create your own job opportunity. But there is a caveat to that, which is that there are certain skills you can learn over the course of doing a PhD in particular, which can be useful in professions that have nothing to do with teaching. For instance, at the PhD level, you do learn how to think critically, you learn how to ask tough questions about the subject that you're researching, you learn about how to write well, and you learn how to take, let's say, tens of thousands of primary documents and hundreds of secondary sources, read all of them, and digest the information and then present it in a coherent way that will make it understandable to your readers. And those kind of skills are transferable. They're hard to market, but they are transferable. You can use them in the context of, let's say, consulting or doing research at a think tank. Actually, I managed to get into Invest Ottawa, and that was only because the person who employed me decided to take a chance on me, and I was able to prove to him that I was able to learn really quickly and write pretty good reports, and I should have a right be able to stay on, and I was allowed to stay on. And those kind of skills, they don't necessarily come as a result of pursuing a history degree. You might already have them, and you might not know it. That doesn't mean I completely regret what I did when I went into the history, majored in history, because I did learn how to write very well. And I learned about how to do research on a really large scale, so I was grateful for that. But there are certain skills that can only be acquired by pursuing a history degree. And also, the other thing that I would have done differently was I would have got more workplace experience. That's very important. Because nowadays, I believe that when you're doing a job, especially if it's a job like in Invest Ottawa, or a job in a law firm, like you're an intern in a law firm, that's also a form of education. you're also building up skills. And you might actually be learning those skills at a faster pace than you would in a classroom. And that's especially true for technology. For instance, many students are finding that they're learning skills working at Shopify much faster than they would if they were just taking university courses at the University of Ottawa. Play on history, or don't do a pure play on the humanities, because you're just headed for despair. You're going to lead a miserable, frustrated life, and then you're going to end up supporting Donald Trump or someone on the cultural left. I mean, that's what's going to happen, because you're going to be angry.
Okay, I cannot post this.